All right, what's up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome because I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, welcome back. I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. All right, so tonight we are doing We Listen but we don't judge. And this is the entrepreneurship edition. I'm going to be sharing with you some of my entrepreneurship mistakes. But before we do that, y'all know I have to do my quick social media checks to make sure we are good on all ends. So let me do that really quickly. And let me go to one other spot. And then we're going to get started. So I hope y'all are having a great start to your week. Hope things are going well. Hope y'all are getting in the holiday spirit and remembering the true meaning of the season. All right, so let's see. All right, first and foremost, thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I always want to give a shout out to my new gold diggers. Welcome to the family. I'm so glad to have you. Also, I'm trying to get in the habit of asking y'all if you enjoy the content, if you like what you see, please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as share the video with a family or a friend or someone who you think can benefit from it. I don't have any church announcements or anything this particular week, so we are going to go ahead and jump into the topic. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are actual entrepreneurs, small business owners, side hustlers. Y'all know I'm a big advocate for having an additional source of income. So different side hustles and things of that nature. But I do have some side hustles where I do notary work, mystery shopping, more so focused on the notary work. But I am definitely an entrepreneur in that I have my own office. We have been in business now since 2016. So this is 8 years that we have been in business. This was not my first business venture, though. I will tell you that my major business venture. I've had a few business ventures that did not work out. So I've definitely had my fair share of mistakes. Now, I will say, though, this has been my riskiest business venture. And when I say riskiest, in the terms of I put more things on the line, more things out there by creating my own office where pretty much I'm running the whole show. So it's amazing to see something that was in your mind come to fruition. So I have a brick and mortar space. So I actually have a physical space. So being able to design the layout of the building and seeing that be laid out, this is my vision, this is how I want it to be, as well as, just about everything you see in the office or any process that you go through in the office, I had to create, I had to envision, I had to, figure out how are things going to run? How are things going to be orchestrated? What is the experience that someone will have when they walk into my office? So that can definitely be, it's a good feeling, but it's also a daunting experience. And so that's why I say this particular business venture was the riskiest in the fact that I had to totally create everything. Not just the layout, but just our systems and processes, how things are going to flow, how things are going to run. I had to create all those different workflows for the business. And on top of that, I had to have people working with me or for me or whatever. So all before any other business ventures I had into entrepreneurship, it was pretty much me. I won't say working for myself, but nobody was specifically my employee. I didn't actually hire them. But in this particular business, the business that I have, everyone who has come through, I've had my hand in some form of fashion in the process of how they have been hired. So given all of that, given that my area of expertise is that I am just I won't say just, I should stop saying just. I am the optometrist. I am supposed to go in and do the eye exams and, see the patients, tell them what's going on, tell them what they need to do, let them know if they need glasses. Like that is what I went to school for. That is my area of expertise. That is what I'm supposed to do. So the fact that I had to come up with, designing a whole office of how I want it to run, as well as the workflows and that kind of thing, that is not necessarily my area of expertise, but seeing all of that come to fruition. So given that, yes, I have definitely made my fair share of mistakes when it comes to business. And some of these I am going to be sharing with you on today. Now, I have a lot. I wrote down a lot. I highlighted some that I wanted to go over with you. And y'all can let me know which ones resonate with you. I'm trying to see which one I'm going to start with. So remember, y'all, we listen, but we don't judge. Okay. So these are some of the mistakes I made, or some of the hard lessons that I had to learn. So the first thing that I'm going to have, and I'm going to number them as I go along so I can see which ones I've actually said. Number one, the first thing I really didn't understand when it came to business, or I didn't fully grasp the concept, is I underestimated how important cash flow was. And there were months where I barely made it through. Y'all, cash flow, having that flow of income is important. And I say that because people will say, oh, I generated, $1,000, or I made $2,000 today. That is all well and good. But how much of that $1,000, $2,000 do you get to keep? That's the cash flow. That is the cash that is flowing through the business. Because if you made $2,000, but your expenses were $2,300, you in the hole. You are in the hole. So I underestimated how important cash flow was. So much so. Now, of course, when I opened up my business, I did have a loan, and I had like a line of credit for me to use. And this line of credit was a large amount. It was larger than what I had ever worked with at any one point in time. So to me, it seemed like it would be enough money. Okay. It seemed like that would be enough for me to be able to run my business, because like I said, this amount of money is some people's yearly salary. So I'm like, I should be good with this. Like I said, this was more money than I ever had at one particular time. But when it comes to opening a business, there were setbacks. Like there were delays in construction. We did not open on time. And because of that, I shared this story, but for those of you who are new to the channel, because I know I have a lot of new people. So there were delays with construction that put us behind. Like I was supposed to be open like in November. I won't say my official grand opening. I didn't see my first patient until May 2nd. I was supposed to be open at the end of November, like mid-November, end of November of that particular year. And I didn't see my first patient until May. Y'all, that's like a 6-month delay. Yo. So that was all cool and everything. Like, okay, we're not going to open in November. So then it got pushed back to like February. And then it was supposed to open on my birthday, because my birthday is in February. Supposed to open then. That didn't happen. That would have been a lovely birthday present. That didn't happen. And finally they were like, okay, we are pretty certain that we're going to have everything done and be able to open in March. So going off of that, I was like, great. Started hiring my people. Told my people like the start date and everything like that. These people put in their notices at their other places so that they could start working with me, and come to find out that we did not have a certificate of occupancy. Also, all the work was not completed either. Like we could pretty much be in the space, but there was like little minor things that still weren't completed. So we did not have a certificate of occupancy, and we didn't obtain our certificate of occupancy until, yes, literally 2 months later, or like 6 to 8 weeks later. Yes, about 6 weeks later. Because what ended up happening is that for those 6 weeks that I had those people in place, the people that I hired who had given notice to their other job that, hey, they're going to be starting this new career with me, I had to pay their salary. And because I knew there were expenses, I didn't touch my line of credit. I didn't touch that. I was like, oh, I can float these people with my money, which I did. I pulled from my savings account that I had, like the money I had saved up for opening my business. So I pulled from that to be able to pay these people salaries for 6 weeks. Thankfully, I only had 2 employees. I only had 2 employees at the time, but I had to pay 2 employees' salaries for 6 weeks, knowing that I'm not going to be able to generate any income. So cash flow is so important. Don't underestimate that. So I'm still thinking I'm doing good. I was like, okay, I use my savings to, like, generate their payroll, to provide payroll. I still have my line of credit to use for any other business expenses that might arise, different things, marketing issues. I won't say issues, marketing expenses, that kind of stuff. Baby, that summer money, in about in about another couple of months, it was gone. It was gone because business was not going, like, as it wasn't picking up as quickly as I was hoping for. So yeah, we listen and we don't judge. So I underestimate the importance of cash flow, and there were months, and that was the first few months. There were months where I barely made it through. It was nothing but God. It was nothing, nothing but God seeing us through on those days, and I had to continue to pull here and there from my savings account, which brings me to a couple of the other points that I'm going to mention. Let me take a quick sip real quick, and let me see if there's any comments as well. So let's see. Oh, what's up, April? Good to see you. Missed you. Yeah, I missed you on last week, but I'm glad to see you on here tonight. And then April says, they left their jobs to be unemployed. Shaking my head. Yes! Out now. My integrity would not. Now, I will. Now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, and have been through some stuff, I probably would have politely apologized and said, I'm so sorry. We are not going to be able to be open, and probably and gave them the option, like, hey, do you want to stay and continue with this job, knowing that we're not going to be open in 6 weeks or who knows when, or do you just want me to terminate your employment now and see if you can go back to your other job? But at the time, y'all, my like I said, I don't know if I would do it different. I would have probably given them the option, though. My integrity was too much to let them go. But the reality of the situation, and when you look at the facts of the situation, and just the mechanics and the business of it, like, if I knew then what I knew now, I probably should have I would have delayed opening. And knowing I didn't really even have, like, my first day schedule, it wasn't even like a lot of people on the schedule. Like, knowing what I know now, I probably would have delayed hiring. I would have either tried to fill up my schedule more, but I will say this, I was so scared. Like, when I first got my, when they first gave me the date that I was supposed to be open, I had people on the schedule, and then I felt bad because I had to call these people and say, hey, actually, we're not going to be open on this date. I'm going to need to reschedule you. But I don't even know what day to reschedule you for. So I will say I felt bad about that. So when that happened, I was even scared to put people on the schedule, because I was like, what happens if we don't meet this date or whatever? And some of these people, because I do have a specialty, these people are, like, I see kids. So if you're a parent or whatever, sometimes you're like really concerned about your child. And also I start seeing really young kids. So some of these parents, they were like, well, I really wanted to be checked. The doctor said this and that, so I don't want to wait. And so they would go ahead and make an appointment somewhere else. So I felt bad about that. So I was scared to even put people, I was scared to put people on the schedule for the fact that I might have to reschedule them. And I was like, I don't want to look bad by having to keep rescheduling these people. And I don't even have a date to tell them that I can reschedule for. And even if I do give them a date, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to be open. So yeah, I had, like I said, now I don't care. Now I don't, when I say I don't care, I don't care what someone thinks of me. Like the situation is what the situation is. It's out of my control. Like I would love for you to be seen. I would have loved for you to come in on this particular day, but circumstances beyond my control have prevented me from seeing you on today. So that's what I mean with now I don't care. I realize that I can only control what I can control. And as long as I make my best effort in making sure that happens, then I'm good. Like, I don't want the weight of trying to make all of these different decisions or trying to worry about all this different stuff. Even like when it came to hiring the people, like I said, now I probably would have given them the option. Like, hey, do you want to stay or do you want to go ahead and say, no, I don't want to be here, submit your unemployment, whatever. And I would at least given them the option. I felt like I had to figure out everything in those moments and try and make it work, even if it didn't work for me. Like, even if it put me in a hard place, I was still trying to make things work. And that is not good as a business owner, because at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for the business. Because if you don't do what's best for the business does not stay open. So treat the business like a business. That's why I tell y'all that. I tell y'all that because of the stuff that I've been through. Like and it's not to say that I'm don't care about people or I don't care about individuals or anything like that. But it's like at the end of the day, how can I help as many people as possible and still stay in business, make money, and be able to continue to serve more and more people? So yeah, I wasn't as business savvy then as I am now. And I realized I don't have to figure everything out on my own. Okay. And I can start giving people some choices and they can decide what they want to do. Just like I could have given those employees a choice of what would you like to do. And I could have given those patients a choice like, hey, yeah, we did have you on the schedule for this particular day. And now we're not going to be able to see you. What you want to do? Like, because I can't really do anything. This is beyond my control. So sorry. All I can do is like apologize and say, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. This was not what I expected or what I anticipated. I understand your child needs to be seen. So I understand if you want to go somewhere else or whatever. So yeah. So yeah, April, it is what it is, but it's a lesson to learn. But like I said, that brought me to, what was I going to be? Oh, so along with that, one of the lessons, I don't know where I have it listed, is, let me see if I can see it. I don't know where it is. But what it taught me too is make sure you vet the people who are working for you. Now, in my defense, and what I meant by that is, the contractors that I use. Like, the contractors I use didn't know what the heck they were doing at all. If I'm gonna be totally honest, they did not know what they were doing. They had done residential projects. Mine was the first commercial project that they had done. Part of one of the two biggest reasons I went with them for doing that particular job is because they were recommended by my landlord and they had the lowest bid in for the project compared to the other contractors that I had to bid out the project and everything. So they were recommended by the landlord and they had the lowest bid. And when everything hit the fan, I kindly let the landlord know, like, please do not recommend them to anybody else because X, Y, and Z happened with me. And the landlord did apologize and said, yeah, we didn't realize that it was gonna be like that. But those people did not know. They did not know what they were doing. They were trying to put kitchen cabinets that go in your home in my exam rooms. I'm like, these cabinets are too big. Like this is not this is not gonna work. It's taking up half. It's taking up half of my. It's taking up half of my exam room. Like this is not gonna work. Yeah, it was a hot mess. So vet the people who are working for you. Don't go off someone else's word. And I know that it's hard to do. Like I went off the landlord's word that hey, these are good, and I will say, coming from the landlord, I thought that was, a good enough reason because I'm like, well, this is their building. They're going to make sure it's, built out like it's supposed to be, but do your own research. And I was ignorant at the time. You don't know what you don't know. I should have asked to see, well, just, I don't even know what I should have asked for because I knew that I was their first commercial project because they did tell me that. So I would have probably, if I wasn't there first, I would have asked to see some of the other commercial projects that they worked on. But me not knowing what I should know or what I should ask, I don't even know what I should have asked for them. Probably I should have asked, well, how is a commercial project different from a residential? Because guess what, baby? They are very different. They are very, very different. And the county I'm in, they are very strict about the codes and how they want the building to be maintained. Because part of the reason why we were delayed and open, 2 of those weeks that we were delayed from opening is because they put the wrong signage for like handicap signage for the bathroom. That caused like a 2-week delay over some handicap signage in the bathroom. No disrespect to anybody that's, handicapped, disabled with special needs or whatever, but that caused a 2-week delay. We had a sign, but the sign had to have Braille on it. I'm like, Jesus, if you handicapped and you couldn't find the bathroom, how you gonna find the sign for the handicapped bathroom and be able to read the Braille? But anyway, like I said, the county was really strict, but the sign that was denied because it had the handicap thing on there, but it didn't have the Braille to go along with it. For child, whoever made these laws is beyond me, because I'm thinking you probably got somebody to help you anyway. But anyway, so it was delayed for that for 2 weeks as they figured out what the right kind of signage that they were supposed to have. So construction for a residential project, yes, they all go to the city for the different codes and stuff like that, versus for a residential, very different. And if your contractor is not familiar, also this was the other thing too with this particular contractor, most of their projects they had done in the neighboring county. Like I'm like right on the border of like 2 of the counties. Like I'm really close to the border of the counties. The county I'm in is very strict, and then the other county is not as strict, but they mainly did projects, even their residential projects. Pretty much all of their residential projects had been in this other county, so they were not even familiar with like the coding and the zoning and stuff with this particular county, or have like an inside track with people who could help them or whatever. So yeah, if I knew them what I know now, I would have probably asked, well, how is a residential project different from a commercial one? And with this being your first commercial project, how are you going to navigate it? Like what steps have you put in place to make sure things run smoothly? But yeah, I don't even know what I would have asked because I didn't know what I didn't know. But vet the people who are supposed to be providing you with the services. Okay. Another one that I have down is, and this is actually the opposite. I had a mentor, but I won't say I had the best mentor or the best mentor for me. So sometimes, how can I put this? Because even with this, I kind of struggled with how I wanted to say this. You have to make sure, even though some people are great at their job, you have to make sure that they are great at the job that you want to do or whatever. So I had a mentoring company that kind of helped me out. And this particular mentoring company, they kind of persuaded me away from the initial idea that I wanted my office to be. Now, in the end, now up until probably a couple of years ago, I was still saying like I should have just went with my original idea. They done talked me into doing this or whatever. And basically, just to give y'all some more context. So, like I said, I wanted my office to be a specialty office where I work with kids and I do a service called vision therapy, which I say is like physical therapy for the eyes. I really did not want to have like a optical area. I just wanted to focus on working with the kids, doing the vision therapy. I didn't really want to be bothered by glasses. So I actually had two mentors because one of them I was like, no, y'all definitely are not for me. I realized that they weren't hands on enough for me. They were, working with, I don't know, I guess clients that had more money. I don't know. But anyway, so I ended up letting them go like halfway through my initial project, but before any construction and stuff happened. And I went with a smaller company that was definitely more hands-on. But both of these companies were telling me, you need an optical, you need an optical. And I was like, I don't really want an optical. But they were like, that is where the money is and stuff like that. That is also where the headache is, because dealing with the insurance companies and all that different stuff, as well as it is a lot. It is a lot with having the optical because you have to keep frames in. So with that, we're buying frames monthly, every other month. So it's a constant supply of us. It's like a clothing store, any kind of store. You got to keep the inventory in there. And I don't really like that particular aspect of it. Also, with the insurance companies, you're obligated. You can only charge if someone's using their insurance. You can only charge the patient like their copay of what the insurance is, unless you get like somebody who is a private pay. So even though you can make money there, some of your income is kind of limited um, with that. So it's just a lot of headaches that come with having the optical. And that was why I really didn't want to do it. And I was like, if I did have an optical, I just wanted to have like children's frames for the children, not necessarily all the adult frames and that kind of stuff. But both of the mentors I had, they said I needed an optical. So I put in an optical, which ended up cutting out space for my therapy room and stuff like that. Probably if I had to start all the way over, or if I did it all over again, I would have stuck to my original vision and not have done an optical. One, because like that would have saved me a lot of money in terms of just buying frames and inventory. And that's, like I said, that's a constant expense versus with my vision therapy room. Yes, I need equipment, but it's more like some of the equipment, yeah, I got to keep buying on a regular basis. But it's usually the equipment that I'm using is like a one-time expense. So I would have been able to use like the money I had for my loan to have this one-time expense, and I could use it over and over versus the frames. I got to constantly keep fresh frames in there and stuff like that. And y'all be picky. Like, y'all ain't got this. No, we ain't got this. I didn't know you were coming in and looking for that specific thing. No, I don't have it. Okay. Try them down the street. They got it. Okay. But anyway, it's a headache. It's a headache keeping up with all of the frames and staying up with all the different styles that we have. Hold on, what is going on with my camera? Let me see. Y'all, I'm sorry. I don't know. It just went out. I'm trying to see which one it is. Is this the right thing? Nope. All right, I am back. So sorry guys, I don't know what happened or why StreamYard kicked me off of the camera, but I am back now. Okay, so what was I saying? Hold on, let me see. Let me check the comments and stuff too. Let's see. Oh, April, I'm so sorry. You know what? I forgot to do the Tipsy Tuesday song. I will definitely have to do that. I'm sorry. I am sorry. And April says, what you did to the landlord to get that recommendation. I did nothing to him. Oh my God. Now I will say this. So the landlord, he was also, I found this out later. Like I said, you got to check your sources. He was kind of new to the position. So he didn't know as much as he knows now. And that worked out to my benefit in the beginning because I was able to like get some, I won't say discounts and stuff like I was able to get some stuff worked out in my favor because he was new to the position and everything. But yeah, he ain't know what he was doing. I ain't do nothing to him. He was new too. We both was just new and navigating spaces. And then April says, isn't it their job to know I think you mean county codes they work in? Yes, they're supposed to know all of that, but they hadn't worked in that particular county. So like I said, I would have done stuff a little bit differently. And then April also says, I would just have a picture book of frames. I'll order the frames when you buy them. LOL. And well, I hate that. I wouldn't want to even do that because then at the same time, that's like literally what people do when they buy glasses online. And then they come in here, y'all be, look, Lord, this is one of my pet peeves. Y'all be having the frames on. Them frames be like 2 times too big for your face. And it's like, you clearly bought those online because they don't even fit your face at all. Like, I don't know who fit you in those, but if it was anybody locally, they should be fired. So so when it comes to like looking at the frames in the book, I would still want something for people to try on to make sure that they fit okay, especially with the demographic that I'm seeing as well. Yeah, it don't work out. It don't always work out right. And then you think this is gonna be cute for your face, and it's like, it was cute in the book, but it's just not cute on you. And then my hubby says that's the world of sales. So he likes doing the sales, but I don't care for it at all. So I would have did that differently or whatever. And with that, I got sidetracked because of the technical difficulties. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me in spite of all the technical difficulties. So but yeah, I was talking about a mentor. So I didn't have as great of a mentor. So and with that, they were used to working with practices who had an optical. They were not used to working with practices that wanted to do vision therapy, see children, and do vision therapy exclusively, which I will say that is a very niche specialty. Like there's not that many practices doing that, but I should have went with a consultant that specialized in it. I looked at a consultant who's kind of specialized in that, and it was out of my budget. It was out of my budget because you have to keep in mind during this time too, some of the consultant fees, because I was starting this process. So the consulting fees and stuff, I was paying for all of that out of pocket. So your consultant is there. They help you do your business plan, which also too, part of the reason I let go of, like I said, the first consultant I had, or the first mentor I had, I let them go because they weren't hands-on enough. It was kind of like they had like a cookie cutter method of dealing with their clients, and I just didn't feel like I was getting the attention that I needed. And because of that, when I initially applied for funding, I did not get my funding for the loan. And then when I worked with this other person, he was good at certain areas and stuff like that. He told me, he was like, oh, I see why you didn't get your loan. He was like, you need to change this, add this to your business plan. And sure enough, once I did all of that stuff, I got the funding. He also helped me with finding like my location and stuff, because all it took me like a year and a half to find my location. And part of that I was working with the other people, and like I said, they were not hands-on enough. He was more hands-on. He told me what to do, what to look for, that kind of thing. So I'm not saying that he was a bad mentor. Like the first people, like I would not recommend them. The other person, I would definitely recommend him if you wanted to set up like a traditional optometric office and stuff like that. Because I feel like he did a good job. But because I had the specialty, that's where I probably should have went with someone who had experience in doing a specialty or whatever. But he definitely helped me out in a lot of areas. But you got to vet your mentors and stuff like that. So if they are good in this particular area, yeah, you're going to get good advice for that. But if you are in a totally different area, then you might not get such good advice for that. It's like saying, if someone is a baker and they're good at baking cakes, don't expect them to be good at making like a 4-course meal or something like that. Like their specialty is baking cakes. They don't know nothing about making, filet mignon or whatever. If they do, it's just like a basic level or average level. But if you need this, fancy cake or whatever, that's their specialty. So vet your mentors, know what they're good at, know where their weaknesses are, so you can see if it lines up with the things that you want to do and what you want to accomplish in your business. Now, you also hear me get on here and say, I'll gather information from everybody. And part of that is because I have had to get good at looking at people that were slightly different than me, because like I said, I have a niche specialty or whatever. So it's like, what can I take from this particular aspect and how can I apply it to my particular business, or how can I tweak it or finesse it so that I can still utilize this particular idea or concept so that it could be beneficial to me in my business. Okay. All right. So I did that one. Now this is a lot. How am I doing on time since we have a little technical difficulty? Y'all have a bunch, but we're not going to go through all of them. Here is a big one. Let me see. I'm going to say this one and then I'm going to do the other one. Let me number it. So I didn't, and remember, we listen, we don't judge. I didn't take enough time to celebrate my small wins, which made me feel like I was falling short. Now, there were things that I was able to accomplish, but because I was still far away from my, my big lofty goal, I didn't celebrate the small things. So I definitely recommend, and that's why I get on here now and say, celebrate your small wins, celebrate your small victories, because they literally propel you to your bigger successes and help you to achieve your bigger goals. When you are so focused on that huge, big goal and you don't take time out to celebrate the little things that you've accomplished, you start getting, I won't say down on yourself, but yeah, you kind of start getting a little bit discouraged. Like, hey, I'm so far away from the goal. But instead of looking at it like I'm so far away from the goal, you got to flip it and switch it and say, look how far I've come. Like, look how far I've come from where I started. Yeah, I still got a long ways to go, but I'm not all the way at the starting block either. So look how far I've come instead of look how far I need to go. So you got to switch your mindset with that. Celebrate the small wins. The fourth thing that I have is, and I won't say, I put down, I avoided having difficult conversations with my team, and it led to miscommunication and mistakes. I wouldn't say I avoided them per se. I will say this: I didn't like to have them. I didn't like to have difficult conversations. Like whenever, like if I needed to, when I first had to fire somebody, oh my God, that thing bothered me for like days, that like leading up to like, okay, I know I need to do this. And it would bother me for days. And even after I let them go, after I fired them or whatever, it would still bother me. But I have gotten to the point where now if I need to let somebody go, guess what? My cutoff game is strong. Okay, I will let you go if need be. Now I will properly document too, so you don't get unemployment. I will properly document and everything. So I will take the necessary steps, but I have no problem now having those conversations and letting people know, hey, this is not adding up. Like, you are not meeting the standards. Here are the things we need to work on. Here's what I need you to accomplish within the next month, next 2 months, or whatever. And if not, then unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go. Like, now that does not bother me, because like I said at the very beginning, business is business, and I have to make sure my business is running to serve other people. And I've also realized, just because someone doesn't work out for my business, it doesn't necessarily make the person, a bad person or anything like that. They are just not gifted, or this is just not their skill set, or this is just not the job for them. So it's best that I release them to go find a job that is more suited to their skill set and what will help them to thrive and grow and be the best individual possible. The longer I keep them around in a position where they should not be, not only does it hurt me and the company, it also hurts them and keeps them from going towards their future success. Okay, that's how I look at it now. All right, I have no qualms about it. And also, I don't feel bad when people leave us either. Like, okay, you got to leave, you moving on, you got a new position, you got another position. That's great. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. And I'm proud to say that a lot of the people who have come through my office, the people who took constructive criticism and stuff like that, they have gone on to bigger and better things, and they've excelled in those positions. And I like to say, thank you. That's part of it, is from you having that training that you garnered at my office. Because a lot of people who start with me, a lot of them come in and they don't have any optical or optometric experience. So I'm like teaching them everything. So when they go on to another position at like another optical area or ophthalmology office, or in the medical field, or wherever, usually it's like within the medical field, and they're doing well, I'm like, okay, I feel good, because that means I gave them a good foundation for them to be able to move on to their next position or whatever. So I don't get upset when I lose someone, especially even if it's a good person or whatever. When I say a good person, like somebody who is like just really good at their job and doing the job at the office, I don't get upset. Yes, I'm gonna, miss them or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna wish them well, because like I said, business is business, and they got to do what's best for them, just like I got to do what's best for me. So I don't have no issues with it. So for the longest time, yeah, sometimes I did not like to have those difficult conversations with people, but now it don't bother me at all. So if you think I'm blunt now, and I won't say now, I have learned how to corporately and professionally say stuff. And usually if you are starting to be, you're not meeting the qualifications that we are liking, usually those people will excuse themselves before I have to fire them and let them go. Because like I say, I document appropriately. So once I start that documentation process and we start having these conversations like, hey, you need to improve, and they like, well, I don't know if this is gonna work. Like, okay, fine, make it easier for me. See your way out, so I don't have to kick you out or whatever. So, but once we start having that and making sure we're on the same page, either they end up leaving, or they end up making the changes and meeting the qualifications or the stuff that is required of them. And some of them, like I said, a lot of them do not have any experience. So if they are really wanting to learn and grow, they put the work in, and then they start excelling at the job. The people who just don't really want to do what they're supposed to do and just, dare I say, be lazy, they end up leaving of their own volition. So it is what it is. All right. So let's see. I think I'm going to share one more. Let me look at the comments, and then I'm going to hop off because, I've been on here almost 45 minutes. Oh, thank you. April says, yes, when I got back online. And then thank you, April, for the time. She says 20 minutes to 11 p.m. So I did good with that one because I didn't talk that long. And talking about, yes, that was a wonderful firing. April, you are a mess, April. Let me see. Let me see which other one I want to say. Yeah, I think there are a couple. I'm gonna say these last two because they kind of go hand in hand. I know I said I was gonna do one more. I'm gonna do these last two. So we listen, but we don't judge. So I thought that once I had my business and I opened up my doors, that the business would just like the people would just like magically come rolling in because they just wanted to see me so badly. Okay. You know, like in the movie, if you build it, they will come. Like that's some bullshit. Really, it's some BS. So if you build it, they will come. If you market, if you market like you're supposed to, they ain't just gonna come see you because you're there. First and foremost, nobody doesn't even know that you are there. Okay, until you start telling people. So just because you open up the business and just because you are selling these products or selling these services, don't nobody know that you here, okay? And even if you tell us one time, we deaf, so you got to say it a couple of times for us to get it. So you have to market a lot every day and tell people about your business if you want to be in business, okay? You gotta until your reputation precedes you, until you build up that reputation where people want to come and see you. Yeah, just building it and thinking that they're gonna come is not enough, okay? And I did not market like I was supposed to in the beginning because I did think, oh, they're gonna come and see me. They're gonna see this new optometric office. You know, I got this nice, pretty sign up here and everything. They're gonna see it and they're gonna come like they come to a new Chipotle or Chick-fil-A or whatever. But people come to the Chick-fil-A, they come to the Chipotle, they come to the McDonald's because McDonald's has already done their marketing. Like they have brand recognition. Like like nobody recognizes you. That's a humbling experience. Nobody cares that you're there unless you give them a reason to care. So just because you built it, it doesn't mean anything. You better make sure you market the heck out of your business to generate people coming in. Okay, so it takes a lot of marketing to get people there. All right, so that was the one thing, and then since this also goes hand in hand. The other thing, we listen, we don't judge. I thought success would come immediately, but the journey is definitely long term. Like I've shared with you guys, probably the first few years, I really didn't at least the first 3 years, I really didn't make any money in the business. And what I mean by that is like the money I brought in was enough to pay the bills. Like there wasn't really a whole lot of profit or anything like that. So much so that I didn't even pay myself in the business. I didn't start paying myself until I think 2021 is when I finally was on salary at my office and everything. And I left so when I first opened up my office, of course, I was still doing what we call like fill-in work. So I was working at another like optical, like a corporate or a chain optical, whatever. But I went from doing 3 days a week to down to like 1 day a week. And ultimately I ended up leaving them in 2019 because we had like a difference of opinion and I don't know. But anyway, I will leave a situation if my integrity tells me it don't feel right. So even though I might lose money, like at the end of the day, my integrity is going to win. So even though I wasn't financially prepared to leave, I ended up leaving. We didn't see eye to eye, didn't agree with some of the things that they were trying to do, and the things that I wanted to do didn't line up with the things that they wanted me to do. So I ended up leaving, and that was in, I want to say, it was 2019, like middle of 2019. So, but I wasn't able to pay myself until like January of 2021. So that was when I was first on payroll. So like even for a year and a half, I was just taking, when the business did make a little bit extra money, I would take some, get what's called like an owner's draw from that or whatever. But yeah, I just had to walk it out, live by faith, go off my savings and stuff like that. Thankfully, we are like a 2 income household and that kind of thing, so that I could still be able, to pay my bills. But at the end of the day, the business bills got paid. And that's why I say there were months when we barely made it. Okay. we barely made it. So for me to be at year 8, it is definitely a blessing, but I definitely took some bumps and bruises along the way. But thank God I don't look like what I've been through. Okay. Um, I've been through the fire, but I still came out like I look brand new. All thanks to God. All glory goes to God, because this show, as y'all can see, it show wasn't nothing I did, because I made a whole bunch of mistakes along this journey. A lot of mistakes. Stuff didn't even, I was just ignorant. Didn't know what I didn't know. Didn't know what I was doing. So it was nobody but him. They say he protects babes and fools. So I was definitely foolish in some of the decisions that I made. And like I said, I have a bunch more mistakes, but we're not even going to get into them. I hope these things resonated with you. We listen, we don't judge. So I'm not going to judge you if you made some mistakes along the way in business. Remember, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. It's something that we can grow and learn from. All right. But I'm going to wrap it up. That is all I have for this evening. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of the week. Let me see. Okay, oops, almost missed April's comment. April says, if you market, they will come. Yes, that's the thing. You gotta market. And that's also why I get on here and I talk to y'all so much about marketing and the importance of marketing, because I had to learn the hard way about marketing and everything. But anyway, all right, so that is all. Y'all have a good evening. Take care, guys.